My name is Wendy Dixon. I'm 32 years old. 3 weeks ago, my parents stood up at their 40th wedding anniversary dinner and announced to 30 guests, "We're taking the whole family to Hawaii next week." Everyone clapped. My sister squealed. I smiled, already imagining ocean breezes. My first real vacation in years. Then I asked a simple question. "What time is our flight?" My father looked at me like I'd spoken a foreign language. My mother's smile tightened, and in front of every guest, my dad said, "You don't need to know, Wendy. You're not part of this trip. Someone has to stay behind and take care of the kids." 30 pairs of eyes. 30 witnesses to the moment my family told me I wasn't really family at all. But here's what they didn't know. I had a secret, one I'd been building for 3 years, and that night, I decided it was finally time to use it. Before I tell you what happened next, please take a moment to like and subscribe if this story resonates with you, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Now, to understand why I walked away, let me take you back to the beginning. The Dixon family lives in a white colonial house in the suburbs of Boston. 4 bedrooms, 2-car garage, lawn trimmed to perfection. The kind of house that screams, "We made it." My father, Harold, retired from a bank. My mother, Patricia, has never worked a paid job, but she'll tell you she's busier than any CEO, chairing committees, organizing fundraisers, maintaining our family reputation. Then there's my sister, Megan, married to Derek, a corporate attorney. They have 2 kids, a Lexus SUV, and they always get the prime spot in our parents' driveway. My Honda Civic gets parked on the street. "Wendy, move your car," my mother would say. "Guests notice what's in the driveway first." I never questioned it. That's the thing about being the invisible one. You stop noticing all the small ways they've decided you don't matter. The better seat at the table. The way your mother introduces your sister by her husband's job title while you're just, "Wendy, she helps out." I work as a part-time accountant. Flexible hours, modest income. Nothing impressive by Dixon family standards. But I never told them about the other thing I do. The thing I started 3 years ago after my life fell apart. I never told them I'd learned to see. Let me paint you a picture of what helping out looks like in the Dixon family. Thanksgiving. I arrive at 6 a.m. to start the turkey. I set the table, arrange flowers, polish silver. Megan arrives at noon, kisses everyone, and sits down to be served. Christmas. Same routine, plus wrapping all the presents because my mother's arthritis is acting up. Funny how it never stops her from playing bridge. Birthday parties. I'm the entertainment, the cleanup, the backup babysitter. Last year I spent 8 hours running my nephew's party while Megan got a manicure because she needed a break. The one time I asked to skip a family event for a client deadline, my mother's voice went cold. "Family comes first, Wendy. We all make sacrifices. Except I'm the only one who ever seems to make them." The breaking point comes in small moments. Like the year I got a kitchen apron that said "World's Best Aunt." Megan gave it to me. I wore it every time I came over to cook, clean, and babysit. Do you want to know when I realized the truth? It hit me one random Tuesday while scrubbing my mother's Le Creuset pot. I couldn't remember the last time anyone had invited me somewhere without expecting me to work. 3 years ago, my life fell apart. I'd been dating a man named Kevin for 4 years. We talked about marriage, about a future. Then one evening he sat me down and said, "I love you, Wendy, but I'm not in love with you. You're just there. You're always just there. Like furniture. Like wallpaper." After he left, I wandered into a pawn shop. I don't know why. That's where I saw it. A used Canon DSLR camera tagged at $180. I bought it with money I should have saved. I told no one. That camera became my secret. I started photographing people most people ignore. Elderly women at bus stops, tired janitors, street vendors. People society looks right through. The same way my family looks right through me. I called the series Invisible Women. I created an anonymous Instagram account. Over 3 years, I gathered 12,000 followers. People who understood. I kept the camera wrapped in an old scarf at the back of my closet. It was the only thing I ever kept for myself. 3 weeks before my parents' anniversary party, I got an email I almost deleted as spam. It was from a gallery in Monterey, California, Coastal Light Gallery, asking to discuss my work. I stared at that email for 20 minutes, but I didn't reply. Not yet, because good things didn't happen to people like me. There's one person who actually sees me, my Aunt Ruth. My mother calls her the family disappointment. She never married. She moved to Carmel by the Sea to open a small cafe with a pottery studio. My mother hasn't forgiven her. I've been calling Aunt Ruth every Sunday for 7 years. My mother doesn't know. It was Ruth who first saw my photographs. Her response made me cry. Wendy, this is extraordinary. You have a gift. She encouraged me to keep shooting, and she was the one who, 3 weeks before the anniversary, said something that changed everything. Wendy, I sent your Instagram to a gallery owner I know in Monterey. His name is Marcus Coleman. He's looking for emerging artists. I nearly dropped the phone. Aunt Ruth, that's the gallery that emailed me. I know, sweetheart. He wants to talk about a solo exhibition. Silence. My heart pounded. That's real? Yes, and you deserve it. You don't need anyone's permission. That night, I replied to Marcus Coleman's email. Now let me bring you to the night that changed everything. My parents' 40th anniversary. The preparation started a week before. I took 3 days off work to help. I ordered flowers, hand-wrote place cards, pressed tablecloths, polished crystal. On the day of the party, I arrived at 7 a.m. I wore jeans because I'd be in the kitchen for 10 hours. By 6 p.m., the house looked perfect. I'd changed into a simple black dress. My mother caught me in the hallway. Is that what you're wearing? It's black. It's fine. Just stay in the background. Today is about your father and me. I nodded. I always nodded. Guests arrived at 7. Megan swept in at 7:15 in a red dress, Derek behind her, kids dressed like catalog models. My mother announced them. You remember my daughter Megan and her husband Derek? Derek's a partner now. We're so proud. Applause. She never mentioned I'd done Derek's taxes for 3 years, free of charge. I circulated with appetizers. A woman asked, Are you with the catering company? My mother appeared. Oh, that's Wendy, my other daughter. She's helping out tonight. The woman smiled and turned away. At one point, Derek handed me the kids. Can you take them? Not, please. Not, thank you. I fed them, wiped faces, told stories. When I finally emerged, dessert was being served. I hadn't eaten all day. No one had saved me a plate. The announcement came at 9. My father stood, tapping his glass. To celebrate this milestone, we're taking the whole family to Hawaii next week, the 4 Seasons in Maui. The room erupted. Megan squealed. I felt something lift in my chest. The whole family. That meant me. I stepped forward. That sounds incredible. What time is our flight? The question hung in the air. My father glanced at my mother. Something passed between them. Wendy, he said slowly, you don't need to know, because you're not going. 30 pairs of eyes. 30 people watched my father tell me I wasn't part of the family vacation. Someone needs to stay behind, my mother added. Megan and Derek need a real vacation. You'll watch the children. But you don't have anything important to do. Megan works hard. She deserves a break. Megan works hard. Megan, who hasn't held a job since Oliver was born. It's just a week, Derek added. The kids love you. I stood there holding a dirty plate while 30 people watched me be dismissed. Some looked uncomfortable, most looked away. Of course, I heard myself say. I understand. I smiled, the smile I'd worn for 32 years, but something inside me had finally cracked. I excused myself to the kitchen. I leaned against the counter and closed my eyes. For the first time in my life, I started making a different kind of plan. The party continued without me. I stayed in the kitchen, washing dishes. Megan appeared. Wendy, don't be upset. Derek and I really need this time. Your schedule is flexible. Flexible, as if my time had no value. Derek made a list, she said, pulling out her phone. Schedules, allergies, instructions. She didn't ask if I was willing. She just assumed. They left before I could respond. But as I stood there alone, a single thought crystallized. They don't see me as family. They see me as staff, and staff can resign. It was almost midnight when I found the emails. My mother's laptop was on the counter. Safari was open. Her Gmail was still logged in. I saw my name in a subject line. Hawaii arrangements, Wendy situation. I knew I shouldn't click. I clicked anyway. The thread was between my mother and Megan. From Patricia. Keep Wendy here to watch the kids. She doesn't have anything important to do anyway. It's like having free help. She should be grateful. Megan's reply. Totally agree, Mom. She'll probably feel useful for once. It's kind of sad, honestly. Free help. She should be grateful. Kind of sad. I took screenshots. I emailed them to myself. I cleared the history. Then I sat in the dark kitchen and finally understood exactly what I was to them. I drove home at 1 a.m. My apartment was small, beige, secondhand. My mother called it depressing. But it was mine. I sat in the darkness staring at my phone. The email from Marcus Coleman glowed on the screen. I could go. I could actually go. I called Aunt Ruth. She answered on the second ring. Wendy, what's wrong? I told her everything. The announcement, the humiliation, the emails. When I finished, she said, I have a spare room above the cafe. I need help with the morning shift, and that gallery is 20 minutes away. Aunt Ruth, I can't just… Yes, you can. You can choose yourself for once. The only person stopping you is you. I hung up at 2 a.m. By 6, I'd started packing. 3 suitcases, my camera equipment, my laptop. I left behind the world's best aunt apron. For the first time in 32 years, I was choosing myself. If you've made it this far, I want to ask you something. Have you ever had to choose between your family and yourself? Tell me in the comments. And if this story matters to you, please hit that like button. Now let me tell you what happened when I told them I was leaving. 2 days before the Hawaii trip, I drove to my parents' house. My mother was coordinating outfits. Megan was on the couch. Derek was upstairs. My father was reading the paper. I need to tell you something. I'm not watching the kids. I'm leaving for California tomorrow. My mother's hands froze. What do you mean? I have a work opportunity. I'm leaving. Megan's face twisted. Wendy, I'm counting on you. We planned around this. You planned around me without asking me. I'm not canceling my life because you assumed I didn't have one. My mother stood up. This is selfish. Family comes first. Family comes first? Except when it comes to inviting me to Hawaii? Silence. For once, Patricia Dixon had nothing to say. My father cleared his throat. If you leave, don't expect us to welcome you back. I understand. And for the first time, I meant it. The next 24 hours were a masterclass in manipulation. My mother called 6 times. You're tearing this family apart, Megan texted. You're going to end up alone, just like Aunt Ruth. Just like Aunt Ruth. They meant it as an insult. But Aunt Ruth was happy. Maybe ending up like her wasn't a threat. Maybe it was a promise. I turned off my phone. The last thing I did was walk through my empty apartment. 3 suitcases by the door. Everything else would stay behind. I taped my spare key to an envelope and slid it under my landlord's door. I loaded my car as the sun came up. I didn't look back. The drive from Boston to Carmel takes about 45 hours. I took 5 days. I stopped at motels, ate at diners where nobody knew my name. Somewhere in Nebraska, I pulled over at a rest stop and watched the sunset. I photographed it. My first shot as a free woman. On the 4th day, I called Aunt Ruth from Arizona. I'm about 8 hours out. Your room is ready, and Marcus wants to meet you tomorrow. When I crossed into California, something shifted. The Pacific appeared on my left. I rolled down my window and breathed salt air for the first time. I cried, not from sadness, from relief. At 7 p.m. on the 5th day, I pulled into the driveway of the Ceramic Cup. Aunt Ruth was waiting on the porch. Welcome home, she said. For the first time in 32 years, somewhere actually felt like it. Carmel by the Sea is the kind of place that doesn't feel real. Cottages, galleries, ocean mist. Aunt Ruth's cafe sat on a quiet street 2 blocks from the beach. My room was upstairs, small but bright, a view of the Pacific. You'll work the morning shift, Ruth explained, 6 to noon. After that, your time is yours. The next morning, I tied on an apron, not the one I'd left behind, and learned to make pour-over coffee. By noon, I'd made $37 in tips. I'd smiled more than I had in months. At 2 p.m., I had an appointment at Coastal Light Gallery. Marcus Coleman looked nothing like I expected. Tall, weathered, kind eyes, linen shirt, sleeves rolled up. He smiled like we were already friends. Wendy Dixon, Ruth has told me about you, but the work speaks for itself. He led me through the gallery, white walls, natural light. I've looked through your Instagram. The Invisible Women series is extraordinary. There's a truth in those images. He stopped at my bus stop photograph. This is the one that made me reach out. You see people, Wendy. Really see them. That's a gift. He turned to face me. I'd like to offer you a solo exhibition, 15 pieces, opening in 6 weeks. You keep 60% of sales. I signed the contract on a Tuesday afternoon. The document was simple, but as I read through it, my hands shook. It wasn't the business terms. It was seeing my name in print. Artist Wendy Dixon. A legal document recognizing that my work had value, that I had value. I walked out holding that contract against my chest, physical proof that I wasn't nothing. While I was building my new life, my family was discovering what my absence meant. I heard about it later. Hawaii was a disaster. Without me, Megan and Derek couldn't enjoy a single dinner. Oliver threw tantrums. Sophie got an ear infection. My mother complained the staff wasn't attentive enough. The texts arrived on day 4. Wendy, where are the medication records? What's Oliver's bedtime routine? I didn't respond. I was too busy printing proofs and meeting with a journalist from Carmel magazine. On day 6 of their vacation, Megan searched my name on Google. For the first time, she found something. 6 weeks later, I stood in the center of Coastal Light Gallery. 15 of my photographs hung on the walls. A string quartet played. 50 guests moved through the space. People who came specifically to see my work. Aunt Ruth appeared at my side with champagne. How do you feel? Terrified. What if nobody buys anything? Someone already has. She nodded toward a woman examining my bus stop photograph. A red dot had appeared beside it. That's Mrs. Peaton. She just bought that piece for $3,000. $3,000? For something I'd created. Marcus approached. I want to introduce you to someone from the magazine. They're considering you for next month's cover. Cover feature. My face, my name, my story in print. I was halfway through that introduction when the gallery door opened. Megan and Derek walked in. They looked completely out of place. Megan rushed forward. Wendy, oh my God, we've been so worried about you. 50 guests turned to look. Megan, this is unexpected. We had to come. Mom found your Instagram. We flew in yesterday. Derek nodded. Wendy, nice place. It's a gallery. My gallery opening, actually. Megan blinked, taking in the photographs, the guests, the price tags. You did all this? Since when? Since 3 years ago. You never asked. Aunt Ruth appeared beside me. Megan leaned closer, lowering her voice. Wendy, I have news. I'm pregnant again. Number 3. I really need you to come home. I need you. Not an apology, not congratulations, just need. Megan, I'm in the middle of my opening night. I know, and this is lovely, but we can talk about that later. When are you coming back? She's not coming back. Aunt Ruth's voice cut through. She lives here now. Derek stepped forward. With respect, this is family business. Family business, Aunt Ruth laughed. You mean the family that called her free help in emails she wasn't supposed to see? Megan went pale. That's not, we didn't mean it like that. How exactly did you mean it? Mrs. Peaton appeared. I'm sorry. Who are you? Someone who just paid $3,000 for that young woman's art. And I'm very curious why her family thinks she should abandon her career to be a babysitter. The temperature dropped. Megan looked at me, desperate. Wendy, please, let's talk privately. I didn't retreat. For 32 years, I had made myself small. Not tonight. I stepped forward. Megan, congratulations on the pregnancy, genuinely. But I'm not coming back to Boston to be your childcare. You can hire a nanny. Derek makes enough. What you can't do is hire me, because I was never paid. I gestured to the walls. This is my work. I've been building this for 3 years while everyone assumed I had nothing important to do. That piece just sold for $3,000. Tonight I've sold 4 pieces totaling $8,000. My work has value. I have value, and I will not throw that away to go back to being free help. Silence. Then Marcus started clapping. Aunt Ruth joined. Mrs. Peaton raised her glass. One by one, the other guests followed. Applause rippled through the gallery. Not for my photographs. For me. For finally standing up and saying enough. I looked at my sister. I hope your pregnancy goes well. I truly do. Then I turned and walked away. 20 minutes later, the door opened again. My parents stood in the entrance. My mother in her Burberry trench coat, my father behind her. They scanned the room until they found me. Wendy, my mother's voice carried. We need to talk. I excused myself and moved to intercept them. You came all this way. Of course. You disappeared. You left when we needed you most. And now I find you here playing artist while your sister is pregnant and struggling. Megan is pregnant and wealthy. She's not struggling. She's inconvenienced. Don't be cruel. This isn't you. You're right. It isn't the me you wanted, the me you could count on to do whatever you asked, but that Wendy was never seen. She was just used. My father cleared his throat. Wendy, your mother is trying to say, I know what she's trying to say. I've heard it my whole life. Family comes first. Make sacrifices. But I wasn't part of the family trip to Hawaii. So which is it? Am I family or aren't I? Neither of them had an answer. My mother recovered. Hawaii was one trip. Someone had to stay with the children. Someone. Why me? Why always me? Because you have the time. You don't have a husband. You don't have children. What else would you be doing? I pulled out my phone. Let me read you something. This is an email you sent to Megan before the anniversary party. My mother's face went white. Keep Wendy here to watch the kids. She doesn't have anything important to do anyway. It's like having free help. She should be grateful. The gallery went silent, and Megan replied, She'll probably feel useful for once. It's kind of sad. Megan, standing a few feet away, looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her. I'm not reading this to embarrass anyone. I'm reading it so you understand why I left. You didn't see me as family. You saw me as staff, and staff has the right to quit. My mother's mouth opened, then closed. For the first time in her life, Patricia Dixon was speechless. Derek stepped forward. This is ridiculous. So your family asked you to babysit. That's what families do. Not everyone gets to run off and pretend to be an artist. Pretend? Mrs. Peaton's voice cut through. I just spent $3,000 on her work. I don't pay that kind of money for pretend. Aunt Ruth said gently, I think it might be time for you to leave. My mother's face flushed. My father took her arm. Megan was crying. Derek stood frozen. My mother said, Wendy, you'll regret this. No, I said quietly. I really won't. My mother left first. She turned on her heel without another word. The gallery door closed with a soft click. Megan lingered, mascara smudged. Wendy, I didn't know you felt this way. I thought you liked helping. No, you didn't. You didn't think about it at all. None of you did. I added, I hope your pregnancy is healthy. I hope your kids are happy. But I won't be their live-in aunt anymore. If you want to be in my life, it has to be different. It has to be equal. Megan nodded, tears streaming. I understand. I wasn't sure she did, but it wasn't my job to make her understand anymore. They left. Aunt Ruth wrapped an arm around me. You okay? I think so. I just told off my entire family in public at my own art show. You did, and you were magnificent. Marcus handed me champagne. For what it's worth, I've been doing this 20 years. Never seen an opening night quite like this. Is that good or bad? He smiled. Everyone here is going to remember your name, and that, Wendy Dixon, is exactly what an artist needs. I looked around at my photographs, my gallery, my new life. For once, I didn't feel invisible. By the time the gallery closed, I had sold 8 of 15 photographs, $14,000 in total sales. $8,400 would go to me. Marcus handed me the printout. Mrs. Peaton wants to commission a piece. She has a vacation home in Big Sur, wants you to photograph the coastline. A commission. I tucked the card into my clutch next to my copy of the gallery contract. Aunt Ruth helped me carry the unsold photographs back to my room that night. I set the check on my desk, payable to Wendy Dixon, $8,400, physical proof that I wasn't nothing, that I'd never been nothing at all. 2 months later, my new life had a rhythm. I woke at 5, watched the sun rise over the Pacific, and opened the cafe by 6. Afternoons belonged to my work. I'd rented a small studio space. Marcus had scheduled another show for spring, a series called Boundaries, photographs of edges, thresholds, the spaces between belonging and being alone. The magazine article came out in October. My face on the cover next to the headline, "The Artist Who Learned to See Herself." The article told my story. Women reached out. Their messages filled my inbox. I thought I was the only one. You gave me permission to leave. My family reached out too. Megan texted after the baby was born, a girl named Charlotte. I sent congratulations and a gift card, nothing more. My mother called once. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail asking if I'd gotten this out of my system yet. I deleted it, but my father surprised me. His email arrived on a Tuesday evening. 3 sentences. "Wendy, I saw the magazine. I'm proud of you." That one I kept. Today I'm sitting in my studio looking out at the Pacific. The Canon camera from that pawn shop still sits on my shelf. Next to it sits a newer model, purchased with money I earned from my art. Both cameras matter. One reminds me to see. The other proves that people saw me back. My second exhibition opens next month. Boundaries. 15 new photographs, each one exploring the edges of connection, where family ends and self begins, where obligation crosses into exploitation, where love becomes something else entirely. I think it might be my best work yet. I'm not rich, I'm not famous, but I'm seen, and that's enough. As for my family, we exist in a new configuration now. Christmas cards, birthday texts, civil, distant, healthier than before. I haven't been back to Boston. Maybe someday I will, but only as a visitor, never as the help. The other day I found an old self-portrait from my Boston apartment. The woman in that photo looked tired, defeated, like she was waiting for permission to exist. I deleted it. That woman is gone now. In her place is someone who takes up space, who creates beautiful things, who says no when she means no, and yes only when she chooses. Someone who finally let herself be seen. That's the real story. Not revenge, not triumph, just freedom. If you're in a situation like Wendy's, remember your worth isn't measured by how useful you are to others. It's inherent. It was always there. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't fight back. It's walk away. Build something of your own. Let your life speak louder than any argument ever could. You deserve that. We all do. Thanks for watching.